If you're an average player, you want to be left alone, right? Because you want to be able to slide by. If you're a good player, you want to be coached. If you're a great player, you want the coach to tell you the truth every day. Did I hustle on that play? Did I make the right read? Did I play the guy with the right leverage? You want to know every play. Because you know why? They want to be perfect. Everybody here makes a choice to do one of those three things.
Welcome to the GOAT Consulting Podcast, a podcast dedicated to people striving to be a GOAT, the greatest of all time, serving it up in a way that you can get it in all stages of life.
Well, welcome to another episode of the GOAT Consulting Podcast, and I am not Colby Jubenville, as we most often hear. We are in VCE Studios, though, and here in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee, I am John Byers, as Colby might hesitate there with the last name. And to my right and my left, we have our good friend and the one that dons the crown of the GOAT Empire, Mr. Tyler Burnett. Tyler, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Beautiful baseball shirt that you got there.
I had to bring in the old baseball background today.
Well done. Our good friend and co-host Colby Jubenville is on PTO this week. He
heard I was coming and he ran.
He got scared, and we cannot wait for you to try to fill in a little bit of those shoes today. Colby's enjoying some time away. He told me he's plotting world domination, but I certainly miss his face. So, and all the faces of Colby that he delivers on the show. So this is a podcast, the GOAT Consulting Podcast. This is dedicated to those that are striving to be the greatest of all time in their own life, business, and relationships. And we try to serve it up in a way that you can get it, and we do that in a way that we try to deliver it a unique perspective, a unique education, and a unique experience for those in their 20s where we all get into the game, in their 30s where we move up in the game, in the 40s where we try to stay in the game, and as Colby puts it, because those 30-year-olds are so damn good, and then in the 50s where we ask ourselves, what do I really want? That's how we do it here. This is awkward. I've never done the intro before.
You're doing great, and we have a GOAT here with us today.
I cannot. I am so thrilled, and we're going to turn this thing over to Dr. Charlotte Farmer here in just a second. Let's give a quick nod to our friends and our sponsor, Dev Digital, and Brian Huddleston and his team. Love those guys. They bring all your digital needs to life. They give you the freedom to build. I love that tagline.
It's a great line.
Check them out at devdigital.com. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you to Brian Huddleston, our good friend from Puryear, Tennessee. He's a local visitor of Charlie's Quick Mart there, as he recently shared. And one other quick thing, we found out this last week that we are now an award-winning podcast. Whelp Magazine, a London-based publication, named the GOAT Consulting Podcast as one of the top 20 best stage direction podcasts of 2021.
I think it's due to your creativity in your shirts. I can't
that's
wait what got us on the board.
It's got to be the shirt.
It's got to be the shirt. Mine too, Mine too.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't know, Tyler. The bourbon shirt kind of stood out.
Yes.
You're right. I'm not as creative.
She's watched an episode or two.
Making those dots, right? That's hard to beat.
Absolutely. Well, we could not be more thrilled. And by the way, this is, out of all the times we've ever been in session recording, I have never worn the same shirt twice until today.
Got a lot of shirts, bro.
Until today, and it is a very special recreate of the shirt that one of my favorites. I think I might have worn this for the very first episode, Love Is Not Canceled, which we started in the midst of the pandemic, and it just fit so beautifully for this conversation with Dr. Farmer. And I just couldn't be more thrilled to bring back and to have the first time I wear the shirt that has been worn before, just for you, and that's a little foreshadowing for what's to come today. So
I have a way of influencing people. In this case, it was a good way.
I would say that is certainly true, and we cannot wait to talk more about that today. So if that's okay with you, can we just jump right in?
Love it.
Welcome to the show, Dr. Charlotte Farmer. Let me just read a quick couple of sound bites here. If I read her whole bio, it would take up the whole hour or 30 minutes of the show. And She is one of the most impressive people I've ever met. Dr. Farmer is currently the operations director of Miters Enterprise Computing, Information, and Security. And they're a corporate business. They've got 9,000 experts, international business. And one of the things that I thought was really cool is, amongst all the things that you do and have done, well, maybe we can get there, but you have engaged more than 150,000 foreign financial institutions in more than 200 countries, and you seem to think that outcome is going to help thwart terrorism and human trafficking. That may come up today, but she's changing the world. Like, she's doing things on a global, massive level.
Stuff that goats do.
Stuff that goats do. That's part of your goatness.
It's my goatness.
Well put.
That's right.
I'm embracing my goatness.
Dr. Farmer has supported leadership, ethics, and diversity in STEM, West Point military. I mean, associations there. She was Savoy Magazine's 2020 most influential black executives in corporate America.
That's what I'm talking about.
Living the goat life.
Has supported and helped run the Fierce Woman Project, recently lauded as her luminary who inspires, engages, and empowers young women. She is a graduate of Harvard.
Is that a good school?
You might have heard of them. and George Washington. Graduated summa cum laude, correct?
Yeah.
I mean,
here's the thing. When I graduated, and I you know how you go across the stage and go back and sit down?
Yes.
One of the people next to me said, I didn't know you were smart. I said, well, I don't wear it on my shoulder.
Didn't know you were smart. Is that what you say to the person next to you at Harvard when you're graduating?
That's not what you're supposed to say. Because, I get out and I play soccer or football. I play baseball. I'm not that typical nerd.
You are massively impressive in so many ways.
But I got to tell you something, man. Harvard, Stanford, Berkeley, MIT, they have classes for free online. Wow. And so I take classes to keep my brain stretched. You remember earlier you said, if it's going too easy, something's wrong.
That's right.
So I like to mix it up and keep it going. So I take these classes. I don't know. Maybe I'm masochistic.
Like, is it Harvard Business online, or what? How do you get to that?
EDX, Echo Delta Xylophone. Just Google it, and you'll get to this site. And there's all kinds of cool classes. You want to learn about artificial intelligence or machine learning. Or not. I mean, okay, so now the nerd.
No, I do. No. That's all right. The nerd can come out because there's a nerd behind the scenes over here too. I mean,
there is one of your many practical takeaways for today, folks. You can take Harvard classes online. I had no idea.
That's amazing.
So thank you for that. For free.
Yep. Well, to be a goat, you got to continue pushing the boundaries.
Absolutely.
You gotta.
So two other quick things. Dr. Farmer, she's married. She's got 3 children. One who's active duty Army and officer. Please let him know. Thank you for that. One's a federal government advisor, and third is a nonprofit leader. So don't say anything you don't want fully investigated here. Dr. Farmer
that's probably right. That's true. We're going to keep it clean.
Yes, maybe. She is a TEDx presenter, spoke on the power of love, hence bringing back part of the shirt today. And I'm just going to say this. I feel smarter, cooler, sharper, safer, and slightly more handsome that she has joined the show today. I don't know why that last part comes in, but you just make me feel warm and fuzzy in so many ways. And I will say rarely have I ever experienced such a combination of brilliance mixed with genuine kindness and grace as I have experienced with you. And you are a legend in the few conversations that we've had and in so many others, and it is such a joy and an honor to have you. So we officially welcome Dr. Charlotte Farmer into the loving bosom of the GOAT Consulting Podcast. So welcome to the show.
I hope you feel the air hugs, and I cannot wait for the day when we can be in person. I would have flown down there to you, John and Tyler. And I would have been right there in the middle.
Yes, right here.
Right
here.
Here in the bosom.
And we did keep these seats open, by the way, just as a nod to Colby for not being here today. But only you might have been able to fill that. So thank you for being here. Several ways that we honor our guests, but before we get there, would love for you to kind of catch us up on today. And I know we've got a main topic we're going to unpack and several other things. It's going to be a lot of fun. Catch us up on your life. Where are you from? How did you get to today?
Man, that would take a long time. So I'm going to go and fast forward, just buckle up and try not to hurt your neck.
Come on,
breakneck speed. So I used to build clay forts in the red hills of Georgia, in Macon, Georgia. No kidding.
Georgia.
I'd go outside and I'd build these little, whatever they were, out of clay so they wouldn't go away. I knew that whole thing about endurance.
Did you also drink from the water hose? I feel like
what do you know about a water hose, man? That's right.
Listen, anybody that drank from the water hose, there is no need to get a COVID shot. And that is not official, folks. Don't send me your hate mail. It is a joke, but I'm just saying. Saying. John,
if you can endure the summers of Macon, Georgia, and drinking out of the water hose and running from tree to tree to drink pears and apples and pecans, or pecans, depending on where you're from.
It's true.
You can survive anything.
Yes.
So fast forward, then I'm building factories in Tennessee.
Really?
I've heard of that place.
Tri-Cities, Tennessee, Bristol, Johnson City, Kingsport.
Okay.
I didn't know that part.
That's where I had my children and fell in love and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden I hit not a glass ceiling. You guys have heard of that. I hit a freaking cement ceiling to the point where I had something quick. So I got an MBA and went abroad while I was there, went to South Africa, worked in Hong Kong for a little bit. And then I came back and I started building businesses on Park Avenue in New York. And guess what? My doggone commute got blown up at 9/11. So I packed up my little bags like the hillbillies, and I went to Virginia and started federal government consulting, and I built businesses there. And now, most recently, I'm trying to build trust in the nation's capital. So that's today. That's where I am today. And I'm very pleased to say that there is a journal. I probably can't announce it right now, but there is a journal that is willing to put some trust in me to talk about trust as a currency for business. And you can imagine how broad a topic that is, because that touches a lot.
Yes.
It touches business continuity and resilience. It touches leadership and culture. It touches strategy and performance, corporate board governance, transformation, restructuring, turnarounds, growth mindset, startups, venture capital, all of that stuff. So the great news for a nerd like me, they're willing to, this really cool journal is willing to give me like a Dear Abby section, a section that will be focused on trust as a currency of business. And I'm opening it up to collaborate with you, John, or you, Tyler, if you want to help me with one of these articles. I'm going to make a series of 7 around those topics. And the first topic, believe it or not, is zero trust, the complete antithesis of trust. Because think about solar winds, think about the most recent cyber attack where we had people piled up at gas lines. Is real. So how do you make your organization or whoever you are as strong as you possibly can? Where's your shield? How do you do that?
I will say, not long ago we talked about trust, and as I think about trust today, and I think these episodes really help stretch me to think and put words around maybe some of my values and my beliefs. But I think trust is hard. When we ask people to trust us, it's so hard because we're asking them either in a big or a small way to love us.
Yes.
That's
yes.
why trust is so hard, and that's why I think you're perfect for that topic, and I think we're going to talk a little bit more about that today. But trust is hard because we're asking people, something, somebody, some organization, country, community, spouse, child, whatever, to love us in a small or a big way.
No, you're spot on, man. There's this book that goes back thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And there's a little quote in it that says, faith, hope, and love. The greatest of these is love. Faith is nothing but trust. It's hard to unpack those,
Sure.
unbind those. They come as a package deal. And it's tough. It's tough to keep that package whole, because sometimes you love, but you're a little worried, you don't trust. So yeah, let's talk about that a little more.
Simon Sinek said, I know you just gave us a good segue to move on, but Simon Sinek said, love is giving someone the power to destroy us and trusting they won't use it.
Yeah.
That blows my mind.
Yes.
And it is. And it's a great definition. So can't wait to hear you talk more about that. So you live in D.C.
I live in DC. Well, so here's the thing. Like a lot of commuters, I work in DC and I live in Virginia. As a matter of fact, I live in a town that has one light. We say hello and goodbye in one light.
Oh, I love it.
Wow. Those places exist in
They
and around
still
D.C.
exist.
Huh?
So I went from a clay red dirt road to gravel road.
Oh, wow.
Gosh,
But I can still get to DC in about 45 minutes. A lot of commuters, around the Beltway.
Yeah, very, very cool. One of the ways that we honor our guests is we ask them to come alongside us in defining a goat. So we talk about the definition of a goat at the top of every episode, and then with our guests, we ask them to bring their own definition. So would love to hear you give us your definition of a goat.
John, you're a good man, but I struggled on this one.
Okay.
You caused me pain because I was up all night thinking about what could I say that would be profound. What could I say that's going to make a difference in somebody's life for that one person or two or three who click on the link and actually listen to the podcast. And it came down to the GOAT, Tyler, brand owner.
Yes.
Is a legacy builder, someone who makes a positive impact that endures all things. Let that wash over you. A quick example is my daddy's peach ice cream.
Oh, wow.
Now, daddy's long gone. He used to be an executive chef when chefs were not cool. But now think about it. Macon, Georgia, this is the place where you drive through on your way to Florida. And we get only two chances at revenue. One, you leave a ticket. You get a ticket and you pay for your traffic.
I think I've had one there before.
Yeah.
You probably got it. And I know Frank, who probably gave it to you.
Frank.
And that other chance was food. And so there would be this huge sign that says Chef's Peach Ice Cream. Now, Daddy's long gone, but that Chef's Peach Ice Cream is still there, and people still stop trying to find it. They're not going to find it because Daddy's long gone. I'm just telling you, man, something that endures. So I was being a little facetious, but we could take it serious if we had to.
So a legacy builder and a go to someone that leaves a positive impact that endures
long after we're gone.
So who's going to carry on the legacy of the peach ice cream? I have feelings about that.
It won't be me. I'm a Georgia peach, and
as am I.
As much as I can offer.
I'm also a Georgia peach.
I can't help you with that. Yeah.
Well,
I eat ice cream. I'm a Georgia peach, but
that's where the Briars comment came from.
Well,
I see. It's all linking back together now.
The next time you're on the show and we're reading a few points from your bio, I want to be able to say, along with all the other accolades, Harvard and most influential executives, and getting rid of human trafficking, that you brought back Chef's peach ice cream.
Okay, so all right, John. I'm gonna go practice on the peach ice cream.
Okay.
I made a really mean strawberry yogurt. It was fantastic. You remember that third kid you were talking about, the nonprofit?
Yeah.
He is a consolidator of farmers. And so these farmers, no pun on my last name, right?
Yeah.
But they love him and they will just give him lots of food. Well, strawberries were in season. I had a bunch of yogurt. I made the best darn yogurt you would. I would eat, Tyler, I would go as far as to say my strawberry yogurt was the GOAT.
Wow.
Because it did not make it through the night.
Wow. I bet I would have definitely demolished it.
Listen, when people tell me they have such good food, I don't believe them for a second.
I'm gonna prove it.
And that's what I like to hear. So
I'm coming to Brentwood, or I'm coming to Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm bringing my ice cream maker.
All right.
Okay,
I'm going to hold your feet to the
and
fire.
And the yogurt
there.
maker.
So tell us, great definition of a goat. Thank you for that. And then we also ask you to share a goat or two, and it could be a person, place, thing. We've had all of the above. We've actually had a goat moment that has been shared before, but would love to hear you share a goat.
My goat.
Yes,
I got it again, up all night worrying about this answer because I care so much about you. So again, sticking with my little definition of impact that endures beyond us.
Okay.
Get your brain ready. Get ready.
So excited.
Educators, teachers. If you know how to tie your shoe, your kindergarten teacher probably helped your mama out in doing it. If you know how to read, write, do arithmetic, and count all those millions of your dollars, Tyler, that you're going to make with those tools. Basic math. That's how I survived day to day. It was from my teachers, my kindergarten and first grade and second and third. And they are the most underappreciated. You know, I had to Google it because I'm a nerd. But I was looking at the most underpaid and underappreciated professions online. Again, you know, you can search it, Bing it, you know. It's teachers. They show up on everybody's list. They're the GOAT. I'm giving a shout out to all the educators out there.
I love it.
I remember my second grade teacher.
And think about it. They're dealing with some bad blank kids. Some of them. And some angels like we were.
Yeah, I remember my second grade teacher. Her name was Miss Strozier. My first grade teacher was Miss Allman. How do I remember that? Because they're goats, right? Like
they're goats.
The impact they make on you, and it's one of the first time you actually start to get freedom and independence from being home. Yep. And the love that they have to show, whether they really like you that much or not. And I gotta say, most of my life, I'm not sure. I think I can tend to be a struggle, maybe a little less today than back then, for people to like me. And yet I still felt the love from those teachers.
Those teachers come to work regardless. My mother was a teacher. That's obviously why it came to my mind. Of my 8 sisters, half of them are educators, principals, administrators. You're dealing with people who don't like you back.
Yep.
Who would just assume you not exist. You remember hearing about these young kids plotting to hurt their teacher? My husband told me about that. I'll Google it for you.
A lot of times that's what leaders have to go through, you know?
Tyler, what?
A lot of times that's what leaders have to go through. They're not the, you know, we think differently, right? So a lot of times when the people that are, whether it's a teacher and kids underneath it or a business leader and people working underneath you, a lot of times you have to make those uncomfortable decisions for the business. And a lot of times the people that aren't the leaders, you know, are seeing only their little lane instead of everybody's lane. Yeah. So a lot of times being a leader is uncomfortable. And we talked about uncomfortable again, about, you know, if you're riding on a horse and it's comfortable, you're probably not doing it right.
Thank you,
It's the
thank
same-
you, Ted.
it's
Thank you,
the-
Ted Lasso.
It's the same.
I think it's the
it's
same,
the same thing here,
Tyler.
and that's why I'm going to go ahead and go with my GOAT.
Go for it.
Now, this is a very popular person, so
I like your assertiveness.
the creativeness here is not overpowering, but I'm going to go with Elon. And the reason I'm going to go with him is because he's gathered so much trust, as we're talking about trust from people, whether it's SpaceX or PayPal or Tesla or even the stuff he went with Dogecoin and all the stuff. I mean, he's made stuff move and shake so much. And he pushes the boundaries of technology, and he pushes people in his organizations to do things different. He makes people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I mean,
like
think about the Tesla that's self-driving now. Think about, people didn't move currency through PayPal really or anything like that before.
That's right.
He's trying to take people
well
to
done.
space. I mean, everything that he's doing is pushing trust, but he's also demanding trust, and he's changing the world.
Well, and Tesla wasn't it the first massively distributed car of its kind? I mean,
Yeah, I think it's got to be. They're more of a battery company than anything.
of course,
but,
it runs on an iPad.
They just launched.
Yeah, it actually does.
And they just launched the
Mine-
fastest production car in the world. The new P100 runs 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds.
Yeah, I need to ride in
What?
that.
Yeah,
I need to ride in that. Okay,
So-
so my GOAT is I'm hopeful that both of you have seen this movie, and this
Probably
is
not.
certainly I don't have a lot of faith that Tyler has seen it because he has missed a lot of the great movies. But there is a movie called Good Will Hunting, and
Oh yeah.
it is one of the greatest movies of
Oh,
all
yeah.
time, and it
Oh,
is
yeah.
it is based. This is a nod to your Harvard roots, and it is based around Will and his story, which is incredible. But the GOAT, I think, of the movie is Dr. Sean Maguire, who's played by Robin Williams, and his character.
Yes.
He I mean, I get chills just thinking about the conversations that the two of them have. One of the quotes he says is, "You don't know," and this is where he's trying to chip away at this brilliant guy who doesn't believe he's brilliant.
Yeah.
And he says, he's had this really rough past, and he says, "You don't know about real loss because it only occurs when you loved something more than yourself."
Wow.
And that's like one of those punches to the face that really helped wake him up. And then later on, one of the most moving moments in cinematic history, I believe, is when they're in his office and he keeps telling Will, "It's not your fault," as he's talking about his past and the trauma that he's experienced. "It's not your fault. It's not your fault." And Will gets angry and then just breaks down. It's this beautiful moment. But
Wow.
Dr. Sean Maguire, Good Will Hunting, you got some homework now because you haven't seen
already
it.
wrote down.
I give you guys respect. I give you both respect. The Tesla, you're right. Battery company, love my Tesla. It drives me. I don't drive it, and I do use my phone to start it up.
I've really
awesome.
been thinking about exploring down that avenue, and so which one do you have, if you don't mind me asking?
It's it's an S, and I
Okay.
call her Sophia.
Sophia. That's
And
I
it
have a
does
daughter.
go really fast.
I have a daughter
I'm
named
telling you.
Sophia.
Let me tell you, Tyler, that car, you got to be careful because if you tap on that accelerator,
You're gone.
breakneck speed, brother.
That's how I felt with you the first time we talked. And today.
And today.
Well, listen, we've got such a cool back half of this conversation. Dr. Farmer, would love for you to stick around. We're going to wind it down here because we like to keep this podcast. We call it a quick cast, actually, a ride to or from work. If you listen on Spotify, you can put it on 1.2 speed. So that really even helps.
wow.
Apple's like 1.5. It's just a little too fast.
Yeah.
But I will say it has been a joy and a pleasure, and I can't wait to get to this main topic that you're bringing to the table. Thank you for joining us. Will you hang out for just a few more minutes with us?
For you, I will.
You're awesome. We are here with Dr. Farmer, Tyler, John for Colby. This is the GOAT Consulting Podcast. Boom.